This is a proposal for the use of cell phones in the classroom by George Engel. According to district initiatives, this is the classroom we want, with access to computers and technology for every student. However, this is the classroom we have. There are reasons why technology has not been fully integrated into the classroom. Bauer and Kenton state a few. Not enough resources, not enough planning time, out-of-date equipment, and technical issues like lack of good software and technical staffing. Also, the classroom we desire does have its limitations. Even if equipped with laptops, the computer classroom is immobile to students with little impact outside the classroom. One of our district goals is for students to utilize technology effectively as a tool. This goal should be met both inside and outside of the classroom. Computers should be as mobile as the students are. How do we get these mobile computers in the hand of every student? The cell phone. I understand that administrators and teachers have reservations about the use of cell phones. Many claim that cell phones are too distracting, used as cheating tools, and used inappropriately for bullying or sending sexual content. I agree with this. However, with proper planning, cell phones can become powerful learning tools that open new forms of collaboration, discussion, the sharing of new ideas, and personalized learning. Cell phones allow teachers to open new dimensions in learning, new forms of assessment, new forms of review, and new forms of brainstorming, just to name a few of the activities that can be done with a cell phone. Cell phones also allow students greater motivation, greater engagement in learning, and new tools for gathering information in the form of texts, graphs, images, and videos. There are many needs that teachers can have met by the cell phone. Teachers are always looking for ways to improve student achievement and motivation, ways to improve digital literacy, ways to bring learners to a higher level of engagement, and ways to give greater access to technology. Furthermore, other needs do exist. Needs to connect home culture with school culture, to make the literacy of technology outside the school part of school literacy, and to make sure that all literacy tools are used for student success. The cell phone is one of these tools. To form a strategy for the widespread adoption of the cell phone in learning, it is important to understand the history of its diffusion and the elements of the adoption of any innovation. So where did the cell phone begin? Bell Laboratories is the true initial creator of the concept of the cell phone. They were led by individuals like Joel Engel. However, Martin Cooper with Motorola is the true father of the cell phone. Cooper's biggest roadblock for development was accountants who did not wish to give him the needed funds. In the field of education, early adopters include individuals like Mike Sharples, Joseph Diaz, Elliot Soloway, and Kathleen Norris, and Liz Kolb. Each of these individuals has made a significant contribution to the field of using mobile devices like cell phones in education. This timeline includes two parts. One part of the timeline shows the innovation and distribution of the cell phone itself. The second part shows some of the early work by individuals with cell phones in the classroom. The pattern of diffusions of mobile phones in the United States follows a typical S-curve or logistic growth pattern. This is reflective of the diffusion of mobile phones among teens as well. Additionally, there is the possibility that classroom density may be much higher than indicated by this diagram. However, even if only 84% of students in a classroom have cell phones, activities exist through collaborative work that would allow students to use the technology. Now, who would be the early adopters in our district? These individuals would be the current technology leaders and the risk takers who enjoy the challenge of learning a new tool. For these innovators to begin the adoption of the technology, they would need to see on some level most of Rogers' 5 perceived attributes for the diffusion of innovations. They would have to understand the relative advantage of the technology, know its compatibility with current classroom practices, know the complexity of the technology in its use and implementation, and be able to experiment with the technology through trials. This would begin the process for the adoption to start reaching critical mass. Critical mass occurs when mobile devices have begun to see use in at least 20% of classrooms in every building. At this point, the innovation should become self-sustaining and see rapid growth among classes. In order to achieve critical mass, some steps should be taken. Opinion leaders, who are highly respected individuals and well known in the faculty, need a positive view of the innovation. Initial adopters should include the more inventive and technologically sound faculty. Incentives of recognition for pioneering the work should be used to award those who adopt and aid others in adoption. And the idea of inevitability of the diffusion should be fostered among those who have yet to adopt the innovation. Should the district choose to adopt this innovation, a decision would have to be made about how to diffuse the use of mobile devices in the classroom. In this case, a hybrid approach of the centralized and decentralized approaches should be used. Centrally, administration should appoint a change agent to oversee the diffusion as well as offering support, both knowledge and technical, to the adopters. Overall, however, a decentralized approach should be the focus of diffusion. This allows for the empowerment of teachers who wish to use the innovation. If the teachers do not feel empowered, more will be willing to adopt. Many teachers are hesitant when a centralized approach is used to begin the diffusion of innovation. Therefore, we need to reach out to opinion leaders to introduce the innovation to them by early adopters, not central administration, as the opinion leaders' opinions will carry more weight with the faculty. With opinion leaders and local innovators, the use of mobile devices should reach critical mass quickly if the central administration only offers a role of support rather than enforcing the innovation. As mentioned previously, the district should appoint a change agent to oversee the diffusion. The role of the change agent is a critical one in the diffusion of an innovation. Change agents are allowed to guide the diffusion process and step in necessary to offer support where needed. This is accomplished by the ability for the change agent to show a need for change by working with opinion leaders and lead innovators on how mobile devices can aid them in instruction over the methods that they are currently using. They establish an information exchange relationship by developing a rapport with individuals using the innovation. They diagnose problems the adopters may be having with the innovation. A good empathetic relationship with the adopter is important here. They also create the intent to change. The change agent is a motivator that works with adopters to build their interest in the innovation. They translate intent into action by working with opinion leaders to network with adopters as they begin using the innovation. They stabilize the adoption by reinforcing the positive behavior of adoption and therefore preventing rejection of the innovation. And they achieve a terminal relationship by fostering what Rogers calls a self-renewing behavior among adopters, thus putting the change agent out of business. A further role of the change agent would be to work with laggards in adopting these innovations. These individuals are the long-term teacher who are very successful in what they do, the teacher who sees no need to change what's already working for them, and the technophobic individual. It would be up to the change agent to assist these laggards as they work to adopt the innovation as well. The change agents in the district include the district technology coordinator and lead innovators in each building. These lead innovators tend to be the early adopters of many innovations, the ones who take risks to improve student learning, and the ones who also have good relationships with opinion leaders in each building. I leave you with one final quote by Norris and Soloway. Educators can continue to be enforcers, battling with students over mobile devices, wasting a unique opportunity in time. Or educators can make their scarce dollars go further by ultimately having students use their own mobile devices for schoolwork. Which do we choose?